Hi everyone, this is Paddy for MK Gaming, and today I'm going to be having a look at The Last of Us, the new title from Naughty Dog, makers of Uncharted, Jak and Daxter, Crash Bandicoot, etc. This is their new survival horror, survival-y action kind of game. I'm very much looking forward to it. The reviews, well, everyone else's reviews have just gone out. I've got this the day after the embargo goes up, so it's been getting a lot of 10s, so it does colour the opinion slightly. So I'm going to be popping a diary up every couple of hours or so during the game and see how it's going and see what we feel like. Without further ado, I'm going to start playing the game now. Okay, so I've just finished the first couple of hours of The Last of Us. I've got to the point where you begin the early access demo, which went out if you bought God of War Ascension, and I've got to the point where that begins now. So I'm about a couple of hours in. I'm not going to talk about anything that happens in the prologue, anything that happens. Really, I'm not going to spoil any plot details because, frankly, that's the whole point you're playing this kind of game, isn't it? For the plot, yes. What I will talk about is the mechanics. Joel controls, looks like a tank. Quite a movable tank, but a tank sometimes. He's quite stocky, fairly slow actually is what I've noticed. The pace of the game so far is a very sort of slow, steady, measured sort of game. You're not barreling through things at the speed of light, you are taking your time, sitting behind cover, waiting for things to go past before you move on, rather than just charging ahead at full speed. And I like that approach. It's a bit more of a reasoned approach to the sort of stealthy, actiony kind of game like this. I like waiting for things to go past. I'm a big Metal Gear fan, so that's, you know, it's my bread and butter. Things like the animations are fantastic. Just moving around in the game is fun. And it looks great, you know, the world's beautifully realised, there's things like there's posters everywhere and there's shops, and you're not seeing the same shop repeated over and over and over like you get with some games. You are seeing every place you go looks different, there's different shops, there's different, well, none of the shops are open obviously because bad things have happened, there's been a pandemic, I'm sure you're all aware of that. Nothing's open, but they all look different and you never see the same shop repeated, which is wonderful. There's crap all over the floors, there's people to talk to, at least in the very early part you can talk to people and, you know, discuss what they're talking about. When you meet up with Ellie, I mean, all the interactions with the NPCs that go with you, all the player characters, you know, not the player characters, the other characters that are important, the interactions with those guys they're interesting, they're well acted, they're well emoted, you can actually get a sense of the subtext behind what they're saying as well. Which is sometimes what you don't get in this kind of game. You'll get people talking, kind of doing the glassy eye talk where you can't see their emotions, and I think that's something that The Last of Us has got really well. It's facial animation. You can really tell what the characters are feeling and what they're thinking. Particularly, there's an animation where you can go behind an enemy and you can sort of grab them and strangle them. Which is essential to get through areas quietly. Sometimes you've got to go behind and choke people. But if you spin the camera around, you can see the enemy's face. And you'll see their face kind of, they'll struggle, and then they'll kind of go limp at the end. And you can really, really see it in the face. The whole face just kind of plonks out. And if you've watched, it's going to sound silly, but if you watch a lot of wrestling, when they do sort of sleeper holds on there and they go right in on the face to sort of see the guy struggling and then they flop off. It's exactly that, and it's a small touch, but it really helps sell that guy is getting choked out and he's literally properly unconscious. There's quite a bit of scavenging as well. I picked a few supplies as I've been going through. Not really going to do much with them yet, but again we are in the early stages. And the proper weapon customization and item creation will get going a bit sooner. So I'm going to go to bed now because it is 1 AM in the morning, but I will play some tomorrow. Next up, the same bit from the demo that I've already played, and then onwards to Uncharted territories. Gag. I'll see you again. Okay, so at this point I've now gone through the first couple of larger combat encounters in the game. There's a couple of big sort of set-piece moments that happened shortly after where we left off last time. There's been at least one good stealth section, and there's been a very good action section as well. Both have been quite large, long-ish, and they help highlight some of the successes and the failings of the mechanics. The stealth system is fantastic. You can stay crouched down, and the enemies you fight, the clickers, the guys with the fungusy heads, those guys will hear you, they won't see you. So you can shine a torch at them and they'll never see you, or they'll never know you're there. But if you run around too fast, then they'll go, and they'll run straight at you. And it does make for some interesting mechanics of walking very, very slowly around things. The faster you walk, the more noise you make. So when there's lots of them clustered around the exit, you have to get them out of the way, or they will hear you and they will go for you. And that was fun. Shortly around that as well, there's also a fight with some people with guns, and the gunfighting isn't quite as good. Joel's aim is very shaky, and this is fine. It's, it makes you more emote more with the character. You feel what he's feeling. He's not very good with his gun. He's flapping it around all over the place, and it's quite hard to hit stuff. But if you are trying to stealth through an area and you cock it up, you're then stuffed. There's no kind of decent way out of it. And some of the parts like that can be a bit tricky. I do like as well, there is an emphasis on running away sometimes. A certain set piece later on, suddenly there's clickers everywhere. It's like, oh crap, run, and it's proper exciting, and it's adrenaline, and you're pumping and you're running, and it's pretty fun. Pretty fun. It's, again, if you go the wrong way down the corridor, then you die. But generally, so far, the set pieces and the action have been pretty good, almost universally good. Characters, I like all of them. You really get a sense, like I said before, like they're actually discussing things and they're having emotions and feels, and especially as you're walking around with Ellie, the young girl, she'll comment on stuff as you're going around, and it just helps give a sort of a richer kind of background and backstory to the characters, and you get a better idea of what they're actually thinking and what they're feeling as you're playing through the game. I'm going to go play some more now. More impressions soon. Okay, blog entry number 4. Since the last update, I've been through another good couple of areas of Last of Us, maybe 3 or 4 hours worth of the game, in which we have fought a lot of clickers, which are the fungus heads, and we've also fought a lot of people. And I'm having trouble working out which one I don't like the most. Not in a bad way. They're both kind of exciting, and they're both dangerous to fight in their own ways. The clickers just sprint at you, and the fights against the clickers are very much a game of staying quiet and getting around them and trying not to piss them off or take them out quietly. You've also got the runners, which are kind of not quite there clickers, and they can see you, but you can choke those guys out, whereas the regular clickers you cannot kill with the stealth maneuver reliably. You can do it, but it's hard. And getting through the clickers is tough, but doable when you're quiet. When they throw them at you, there's a part where you're trying to push a thing, and they're literally chucking clickers at you left, right and centre, and that is hard, that is dangerous, and I died a couple of times on that, I will admit. And it was fun, but it was certainly not playing to the game's strengths, because to get rid of them properly, obviously you need to use your guns, and the aim's it's a bit junky, and if you miss, you've got to reload the gun. It's good. It's exciting, and when it worked, it was brilliant. But a couple of times you just miss a shot by literally a couple of inches, and then dead on the floor. So it kind of punishes failure in that way. And then you've got fighting humans, which is much harder, I find. The humans will gang up on you. They'll go round. They'll be able to hear you from longer distances. They will call for backup as well. They'll shout for their friends who will come and join in as well. And with some work, you can hide from them, choke them out when they're not looking, which is just always fun. Doing the rear choke maneuver, which is a tad overpowered, maybe, because you can just sneak up behind and choke out basically anyone as long as they can't see you. But it does make the stealth of the missions, you really should be stealthing these guys where possible. And the game only a couple of times has put you in a situation where you have to fight gun to gun. And it's okay. I prefer the stealth, but the combat maneuvers, do as good as you can in the stealth before you try and get your gun out. What we've been doing recently is I found repair kits that let you upgrade your equipment further than you would be able to when you start. So, for example, you find a workbench, you can put your guns on the table and upgrade your guns to certain levels, and each level of upgrades is hidden behind you must have 2 repair kits, you must have 4 repair kits for this one. So it does, you can't overpower your guns at an early stage. It does limit the gun up customization as you go through, which I like, because it means your guns don't get overly powerful. You don't really upgrade the power of them per se. It's more things like reload speed, clip size, that sort of thing. You've got a bow and arrow, you can adjust how quickly you draw the thing to fire. Lots of craftables as well. I've picked up dozens of recipes for those. You can do, I say dozens, that's a lie, really it's about 6. Things like smoke bombs and nail bombs, and you can customise health kits and shivs and stuff. And that's been good, and finding the equipment for that has been fun, and it encourages you to scavenge and find, go looking around the environments and really explore everything that's in there. And having that incentive to go and look around the environments is great, because you see a lot of kind of the backstory, and you chat to Ellie as you're going around about things she's done, things she hasn't done. She talks about comics at one point, and you really nice characters to kind of listen to if they're not exactly likeable. Ellie's very likeable. She's your typical snarky Juno team. She's Ellen Page. Let's not lie, she's Ellen Page. But Joel's a bit more of a dick. I find that he's often at odds with what you're actually doing. So he'll be going, oh, we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be doing this, and then he'll just do it because you're controlling him and you just have to do it. But there's hints that he's more of a bastard than he's letting on. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out. But yeah, I'm moving on through the game again now. I'll be pushing through again, and I'll see you again in a few hours. Okay, this is the last entry for tonight. This is the end of my second day with the game. I'm about 8 to 10 hours in, I think. I picked up about 8 guns. They're all different, which is nice. They all do slightly different things. Some are quite long range, some are really good for close up. There's a half sawn-off shotgun, which is really fun. You only have about 10 bullets for any one, so you have to kind of play it safe and mix your guns around as you go. But it's cool. What I want to talk about now is Joel and Ellie. I'm flipping back and forward. The thing is with Joel particularly is they make him seem like a really bad guy every now and again, and he'll seem like a bad guy trying to be good. Kind of like Red Dead, how John Marston was a bit of a knob, but he's trying to turn over a new leaf, and you can kind of see Joel trying to do that, but then every now and again you get flashes of the bastard, and it really kind of, it's like, whoa, and it throws you. I like it. I do like it. I like it very much that he's got, he can be both, a decent guy and a complete bastard at the same time. It does rankle slightly. Every now and again, it's like, oh, 5 seconds ago, you were a knob. Now you're saying, come on, let's be friends. Okay, I'm just wondering how many more times that's going to happen. The clickers are still scary. The humans are still hard to fight. The environments are lovely to explore. There's horses. I think I'm over halfway through. I might be halfway over halfway, and I am absolutely loving it. And I'm going to go to bed now, and I'm going to play some more tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Okay, next update. I've played quite a bit more now, as you couldn't tell. And the plot, while I'm not going to discuss the specifics of the plot, I will say that it's hitting home now. It's a series of just gut punches over and over and over, and this is a horrible world that these people live in, and they're becoming horrible as a result. I'm not sure if Joel was this horrible to start with as well. That Ellie's certainly got a bit more vicious as time's gone on, and yeah, some horrible, nasty things have happened. And I'm feeling a bit emotionally drained, if I'm honest. It's not nice stuff to watch. But as I say, I'm not going to tell you what it is, because frankly you need to experience it. Mechanically, again, lots more dudes, lots more clickers. Now I'm getting the hang of it. It's actually much better. And once you have upgraded, you can upgrade your aim. So my earlier worries about the wobbly aim do get fixed up by virtue of upgrading your aim using these pills that you find everywhere. And that's handy, because now I can aim and I can actually hit stuff when I want to, which means much less wasted ammo, which is brilliant because the ammo is gets very scarce at times. It gets incredibly scarce. But yeah, I believe I'm hitting the final chunk of the game now, from what I understand. I'm in the final third, as it were. And it's not short. I mean, the game time I'm at now must be a good 12 hours. I've been doing these reports every 2-3 hours of game time. So, I mean, we've got to be hitting about a good 12 hours by now. So it's not a short game at all. You know, there's a lot of content here. But hopefully I'm going to now keep on charging through and see if I'm as emotionally drained as I was at this one. I'll see you soon. So this is going to be the last entry. I just finished the game about 10 minutes ago. And the only thing I can say is that you should buy it, because it's in here and it's not going to go away for a while. Buy it.